네, 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 지금 시작을 했고요. Let's go live. So, 여러분 안녕하세요. 저는 선현우입니다. Hi everyone, I'm Hyunwoo from Talk to Me in Korean. I know you guys are watching from various parts of the world, so it might be a very convenient time for some people. It might be very inconvenient time for some people. So thank you for tuning in. 네, 오늘은 한국어 질문을 하실 수 있는 기회를 드릴 거예요. 평소에도 질문에 열심히 답변을 드리고 있지만 we are answering actively, regularly, your questions here and there on Instagram, on Twitter especially. But this is your opportunity to say hi to me and to everyone on the Talk to Me in Korean team and get your questions answered. Okay, so let me check some comments. This is my first YouTube live in a while, so I'm going to need some time to get used to this again. I hope to do this more regularly in the future. Once again. 자, 여기서 제가 지금 코멘트를 여기에서 보고 있고 여기에서 보고 있어요. So if I'm looking here and here, I'm not looking away from you. I'm looking at you. Okay? 자, 지금 밤 11시라고 하셨어요. Hello from the Philippines. Hi Anne. 그다음에 Timothy, North Carolina. My World. Hello from Michigan. Rocio Cordova. Hello from Mexico. 그 다음에 Rain, Davila, let's read as many names as possible. Baxco, 알레이자메이, 네리, 조여울님, Jaden Abrera, Adrian, Rise Above, hello from Texas, Anissa, Bob. Thank you so much for tuning in. 네, 벌써부터 질문이 들어오고 있어요. 벌써부터 질문이 들어오고 있습니다. So, okay. So today I will be answering your questions. Can you turn off the air conditioning? Actually, it's a little too hot. Can you turn it off? Yes. 네, 꺼주시면 감사하겠습니다. So, yeah. Today we'll be answering some questions, but at the same time, we want to remind you that we're having a 50% sale for our premium membership. Our Talk to Me in Korean premium membership is our service where you can study Korean very, very systematically and through easy to follow lessons on our website at talktomeinkorean.com. So if you haven't visited our website, a lot of people haven't actually because we have various resources here and there available through YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, etc. and the podcasts. Many people know about our website, but they haven't visited us at the website. And our website is where all the essential courses are. So please visit us today if you haven't. 웹사이트에서도 공부하실 수 있는데 오늘은 일단 한국어 질문을 답변 드리려고 합니다. Okay, the first important question that I want to answer before anything else, I saw it on my YouTube feed. I don't see it in the admin feed here. What is Hyunwoo's MBTI was the question I saw. Can you guess my MBTI? I don't really believe in it 100%. 완전히 100% 믿는 건 아닌데 그래도 대충 맞는 것 같아요. I think MBTI usually works. 한국어로도 그냥 MBTI라고 해요. In Korean, we say MBTI to just read the English as it is. So my MBTI, can you guess? I think I'm seeing, the comments first on my personal laptop and then on the admin channel. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of E. All right. Wow, so you guys, at least 5 people got it right. So my MBTI is INTJ. I'm not an MBTI expert, so even if I hear somebody's MBTI result, I don't know what it means. I just know that I'm INTJ. I'll let you decide whether that suits me or not. 네. 좋아요. Yeah, I once wrote somewhere that my MBTI is TTMIK, but it's not MBTI, right? Anyway, so that was the first question. Let's get back to the Korean language. and answer some questions. The first question I want to answer here is, and since I'm doing this all by myself, I can't like be translating like simultaneously, but I will try to offer translation when I say something in Korean. 한국어로 말을 하면 영어로도 번역을 할게요. At the same time, if I say something in English that I think you might want to know in Korean, I will offer the Korean expression too. 한국어로도 표현을 소개하고 싶은 게 있으면 소개를 하겠습니다. 그리고 이렇게 동시에 타이핑도 하면 도움이 될까요? 네. And please ignore all the spell checks. No, ignore. How do I turn it off? Okay, looks good. Come on. Yeah, okay, it disappeared. 자, 해보겠습니다. 경치와 풍경. I love these word comparison questions. Like, what's the difference between A and B when A and B are the same in the dictionary translation? Because this kind of differences are what make learning a new language difficult at times, because you're not sure which word to use between these two or three. So 경치, 풍경. 경치가 좋다. Or okay, let me type it. 경치 and 풍경. When you are on the top of a mountain, when you are like in a balcony, looking down at a lake or some nature, you can say 경치 or 풍경, it's fine. 경치 좋다, 풍경 좋다. But 풍경, so in this case, when you're looking, for example, when you're looking out the window and you're talking about the view, in Korean these days, people just say 뷰가 좋아요. And in that case, you can say 경치가 좋아요 too, like when it's nature plus artificial architecture combined. But 풍경 is more completely nature, pure nature. So in most cases, most contexts, you can either say 경치가 좋아요, 풍경이 좋아요, but 경치 is more like what you are seeing. Okay? And when you're talking about hotel rooms, which room has better view, you can say 어떤 방이 더 뷰가 좋아요? 어떤 방이 뷰가 더 좋아요? I recently went to a resort with my family, and they wrote everything using the word 뷰 instead of 경치 or 경관 or other Korean words. They were like since this building is facing either the ocean or the city, you can see ocean view or 시내 뷰 or something else 뷰 written in Korean like that, written in Hangul. Okay. All right, so let's read some comments. You are INF. Okay, you're also INTJ. Good. 좋아요. I know INTJ. I don't know much about MBTI, but I know that INTJ is the best because that's me. I don't want to take anything else. All right. So a lot of really interesting questions. Obviously, I want to ask for forgiveness beforehand, in advance, because I won't be able to answer every single question, but I will try to answer as many as possible. Okay, any tips on pronouncing U and O? Okay, not very difficult actually. So, U, O, U, O, U, O, U, O. Okay? So, U and O. And, okay. I am I wish I had someone next to me, like picking the perfect questions to answer next. 네, 여기에 지금 이 질문이 있어요. 네. I hope I'm helping by capturing, like taking a screenshot of all these comments, okay? 근데, so this was a typo. 근데 is the correct spelling of the word. 근데 and 근데 versus 그런데. 그런데 is but, however, or by the way, and 근데 is just a shortened form of 그런데. So 그런데 or 근데 and 그런데 are the same. But in spoken Korean, when people speak Korean in everyday conversations, people often say 근데 instead of 그런데. 그런데. Children, little children, they often start with 그런데, I think, because many of their storybooks show 그런데 as the correct spelling. So my little one, who is 5 years old, he often just says 그런데, 그런데 in a very cute, it's only cute because 그런데 is less commonly used in spoken Korean among adults, but children use the correct form, the original form 그런데 in like enunciated pronunciation, so it makes it cuter. But adults, they say 근데, 근데. And if you want to be more formal, you go back to 그런데, which is the original dictionary form. Okay. So what part of what I said about INTJ was spoken like a true INTJ? Is it that I said INTJ is the best? Okay. All right, a lot of questions. Let me actually close this laptop. It's confusing me because I'm looking here and there. I'm trying to capture a screenshot from this laptop, which is not connected to my screen. 합니다의 의미는 무엇입니까? Okay, this is interesting because you are answering this question in Korean and you're asking about something very easy. So, but it's fine. 합니다 is written like this in Korean. 합니다. So 하다 is to do. Okay, the dictionary form, and 해요 is the conjugated present tense form. 해요. So I do, you do, or she does, he does. Okay, 해요. And then 합니다 is more formal. It's the same. The translation is the same. Like it's conjugated to the present tense. And yeah, when you want to be more formal, so for example, with the phrase thank you, 감사합니다 is what you learn first before any other expressions like 고맙습니다, 고마워요, 고마워, 감사해요, stuff like that. It's like the set phrase for thank you. And it's in the 합니다 form because it is the most formal, it is the most commonplace, like classic example of how to say thank you. But I often use 감사해요 too when I want to be a little more friendly with somebody at least younger than myself. 감사합니다. If I say 감사합니다 to every single comment to something that somebody did, I sound like sometimes I don't mean it. But if I say 감사해요 with a nice smiley emoticon next to it, it feels more real. At least that's my intention. 예지, 승환, okay? So when I write 감사해요, I might be feeling a little more grateful than when I say 감사합니다. All right? Okay. Okay, this is a question that I won't be able to answer with expertise, but just to share with you that I got this question. 일단 제가 전문가는 아니에요. 그런데 그래도 서울 한국어와 부산 한국어의 억양 차이점을 알려주세요. So in English you can say the Seoul Korean, the Busan Korean, but in Korean if you say 서울 한국어, 부산 한국어, it makes it sound a little bit like they're both two different languages. So people often say 서울말 or 서울 억양 or 서울 말투 or 서울 사투리 if you consider the Seoul area dialect to be a part of the Korean language, not what represents the whole language, right? 서울 사투리, you can alternate between these four options. And 부산말, 부산 억양, 부산 말투, 부산 사투리. Okay? 사투리 is dialect. 부산 사투리. 말투 is way of speech, way of talking, way of speaking. 억양 is accent, tone. So you can say 서울 말하고 부산 말 어떻게 달라요? So I won't be able to answer this professionally, but you see a lot more intonation, more pronounced in the Busan dialect. All of my maternal relatives on my mother's side, they're all living in Busan, they're all from Busan, so I grew up speaking Busan dialect almost like a, I don't know, native speaker when I was a little kid, but I've forgotten everything. I can't even mimic it really well. So, but you see a lot of intonation. There are lots of words that Korean, Seoul people won't be able to understand, like 어제 or 엊그제, like yesterday, a couple of days ago. Busan people, they say 아랫게, and I thought it was a very interesting word, 아랫게, like you're thinking about, I don't know about the etymology, but in Busan they say 아랫게, like about 2 days ago, a couple days ago, like you're looking down at the time, the past, I don't know, 아래, like going down in the past. All right, good question, an easy question to answer, to introduce here. One of the great things about live classes for the presenter, me or Yeji or Sungwan, whoever does this, is that we could pick an easy question like this here, 극장 and 영화관. 극장, 영화관. 영화관 is a movie theater. 극장 is a theater, so it can be a theater for musicals or it can be a theater for play, other things too, not just movies. Like this, like easy question, or we can pick a very challenging question and try to challenge ourselves. Even like when I'm picking a question to answer, I'm not always sure of the answer. I'm trying to figure it out myself. And what I love about it is that I get to think about something that I didn't really think about before, thanks to you. 여러분 덕분에 처음으로 생각해 보는 것들이 있어요. 여러분 덕분에 한국어의 특정 표현들에 대해서 about certain expressions in the Korean language 처음으로 생각해 볼 때도 있어요. There are times when I think about those for the first time. So that's good. I saw this. Okay, 또 이 질문 답변해 보겠습니다. 네, 다음 질문은 the next question is. By the way, before I answer this question, is the pace okay? Am I skipping too many details or am I going too much into details? And did you miss me? More importantly. Yeah, whatever nice comment you leave, I'm going to read it. 네. 네, 일단 이거부터 답변 드릴게요. 간적 있어요랑 so let me rewrite it because you're using two verbs 가다 and 하다. Let me just unify the verbs into 하다. So 한 적 있어요. I've done it before. 해봤어요. I've done it before. So they're the same in most cases. 해봤어요. 한 적 있어요. When you say 한 적 있어요, for example, 저는 연예인이랑 with a celebrity 사진 찍은 적 있어요. Using the 적 있어요. I have taken a picture before with a celebrity. You want to say that, like talking about whether you've experienced something before or you haven't done it before. 저는 연예인이랑 사진 찍어 봤어요. So in most contexts, they're the same meaning, but there are some advantages for each. So when you want to say this, you can, let me just copy and paste this and modify it. 사진 찍은 적 you can add 많이 있어요 here. You can modify 있어요 with 많이. Okay? 저는 연예인이랑 사진 찍은 적 많이 있어요. Or you can say 3번 있어요. 4번 있어요. 5번 있어요. Stuff like that. You can expand your sentences in different ways depending on what form you chose. Whether you chose this one or this one. One different kind of advantage with this route is you can of course mention how many times you've done something, but you can also add a different kind of story. 사진 찍어 봤는데, like I've tried it, I've experienced it before, but it wasn't a big deal or something like that. You can add more stuff. Okay, so there's more room for other types of interpretation, other types of storytelling. So, but when it's really short like that, it's the same. Okay? There will be many expressions that you learn in the future and you have learned already that really changes their roles depending on the surrounding sentences, and that's why the contexts really matter. 네, 일단은 한번 보겠습니다. 코멘트를 조금 더 볼게요. Park, Jen, 사랑해. Thank you so much. 그리고 Timothy Lee, this is your first YouTube live. Thank you. This is my first YouTube live this year, I believe. I only joined Seungwan and Yeji. I've done it dozens of times before, but this is the first time this year that I'm doing this alone. Yeah, Seungwan and Yeji just made me do this. I don't know why. 갑자기 하라고 하더라고요. 그래서 제가 네, 알겠습니다 했어요. 그다음에 K Samuel, thanks for tuning in again. 속도 okay 하셨고요. I forgot to mention, we got a super chat earlier, even before the live class started, from Madame de Tourvel. Thank you so much. You are always here to support us. I really appreciate it. 그 다음에 the pace is alright. I'm reading the comments you left. I will try to scroll up and try not to miss too much. Okay, this one is good. 안그래도. Here, let me go back to this. Whenever I'm not talking, whenever I am like screen capping something, please look at this and please look at this, okay? We're having a sale, 50% off on your first year of subscription on our website at talktomeinkorean.com. We have a very astonishing 1.2 million people subscribed, registered on our website, studying with our courses from all over the world. And we have more than 1.4 million people watching our stuff on YouTube. And surprisingly, many people who are watching our stuff online on YouTube are not yet a member of our website. So we're always encouraging you to please visit our website. You won't regret it. So I just did that, talktomeinkorean.com. 안그래도. So 안그래도 is, 안그래도. Yes, it can be translated to as a matter of fact. In fact, it can be translated to so many things. You know what? Oh, or So 안 그래도 means when it's used when you were going to do something, or at least you are saying you were going to do something, and then the other person already mentions it before you can act on it, and then you can say 안 그래도, 안 그래도. So therefore, it means let's say 네가, or let's say I'm having a conversation with Yeji. Yeji says, 청소 다 했어요? 안 그래도 하려고 했어요. So Yeji says, did you finish cleaning? Did you clean everything? And I say, oh, even before you said it, I was going to. A classic excuse, right? So 안 그래도 here in this case, in this context, it means 예지 씨가 말 안 해도, Okay? So whatever verb is used in the specific context is just replaced with 그렇다, like to be so, to do so, to be like that. Okay? So 안 그래도, even if you were going to not say it, I was going to do it. So you can never, believe it. You can never. There's no evidence for that you were wanting to do that already. But yeah. So 안 그래도. So 안 그래도 is the same as 그렇지 않아도. It's basically the same thing, just conjugated differently. 안 is before 그래도 or after 그렇다. So 안 그래도 그렇지 않아도 안 그래도 한번 전화해 보려고 했어요. 그렇지 않아도 한번 전화해 보려고 했어요. You know what? Even before you mentioned it, I was going to give that person a call. Okay? So maybe you can say 안 그래도 Talk to Me in Korean 웹사이트 가보려고 했어요. You know what? Even before you mentioned it, and even before you had these signs here and there, I was going to visit the Talk to Me in Korean website. 네. Okay, this is a good one. 안절부절. 안절부절. 안절부절이라는 단어 설명해 주세요. So I'm thinking maybe because I am mentioning 예지 as an example, her name so much, 예지 is 안절부절. So 안절부절 is when you are worried about something, you are dreading an unwanted outcome. So that's 안절부절. 그리고 있잖아요. Okay, let me pick up the pace a little bit and answer as many questions as possible. 있잖아요. 여기 있잖아요. 물 어디 있어요? 물 주세요. 아까 물 달라고 했잖아요. I told you I needed water. And then somebody can say, 여기 있잖아요. Look, it's here, isn't it? So you can say in the literal sense, it's here. Or when you want to start up a conversation or when you want to bring up a topic, you can say, 있잖아요. You know what? There's this thing that I want to mention, then I want to bring up here in the middle of this silence. You can say 있잖아요. So that's 있잖아요. Okay. 듀님 정말 영어 잘하셔서 너무 부러워요 하셨는데 한국 분이시죠? 아마도 문장을 봤을 때. 네, 저도 공부를 열심히 해서 네, 좀 편해졌는데 공부하시면 다 하실 수 있습니다. Anybody can learn any language in the world if you study, if you just put in the time. It's just a matter of time and dedication and practice. Anybody can learn any language, including Korean and English, French, Spanish, from anywhere in the world. It just takes time. 시간이 걸릴 뿐이에요. 정말로. 시간이 있으면 충분히 할 수 있습니다. 좋아요. 아하. Here. There are lots of words that are not pronounced in the same way that you expect them to. For example, 같아요. 같아요. 같다 is to be like something or to seem like something. And 같아요 is the present tense conjugation. If you're not sure how to conjugate a verb into the present tense, the past tense, the future tense, various types of tenses, please visit our website at talktomeinkorean.com. I'm basically going to say if, then please visit our website every single time. So 같아요. If you want to conjugate it like this, we have our course and our specific lessons on this kind of drill. So 같아요. And then you often hear people saying 같아요 like that. 같아요. Only verbally allowed. Okay? Only accepted verbally in spoken Korean. If you write like this, if you spell it like that in formal documents that will be evaluated by other people, you will get a bad score because you sound like a child. but it's accepted because it's just sometimes easier. 같아요, yeah. So even like especially in 반말, 나 늦을 것 같아, 나 늦을 것 같아. I don't have a very strong logical explanation for it, but I'm guessing right now, I'm thinking about it for the first time as to why. I think it's because of 해. Like, 나 오늘 심심해, 나 오늘 지루해, 피곤해, like that. Like in 해요, people are so used to saying 해, like ending sentences with 에, that 같아 feels a little bit strange sometimes. So people say 같아, 나 늦을 것 같아. So it's okay, but when you write it, you have to write it like this: 같아, and 같아요, and 같아요. Okay, and 괜찮아. My mother-in-law actually, she says instead of 괜찮아 to my boys, she says 괜찮애. 괜찮애. Kind of like in a dialect way of speaking, but she just says it and it sounds really natural because it's so common in spoken Korean. But when she messages people, she never types like this, she always types like that. So there's that distinction between spoken and written Korean. And we actually have a video on this, the differences between spoken Korean and written Korean. And I don't know about all the 6,000 languages in the world, but from what I understand, Korean is one of those languages that actually show a lot of difference between written and spoken forms. So you might want to check that out if you haven't. 그리고 since I want to promote our website a lot more actively and here as well, I have something to show you. This is a course on our website.
My first Korean phrases, explained in Korean. Lesson 19.
So this is an example of something that we have on our website. It's I'm hearing my voice, so it's a little 이상해요. 좀 이상한데요. 그렇지만 잘 들리시죠? 저희 웹사이트에 오시면 이런 코스들이 있어요. I'll let you listen for a little bit, maybe 15 more seconds.
헷갈렸어요. 안녕하세요, 여러분. 톡투미인 코리안의 김예지입니다.
네, 유승환입니다.
네, 승원 씨, 안녕하세요.
네, 승원이요?
아, 미안해요. 헷갈렸어요.
Very good, right? 헷갈렸어요. So if you want to learn these really useful Korean expressions that you can use in your next Korean conversations, we have something that teaches these in Korean. 한국어로만 가르쳐 드리는 코스가 있어요. 로만 이런 표현들을 가르쳐 드리는 코스를 준비했습니다. 오케이. 코멘트 좀 볼게요. 예지 선생님 계속 계시는군요. I thought you were working. This is work too, but oh yeah, 이라희. I hear some people saying 괜찮어, 괜찮어. Yeah, 괜찮어 sounds good too. 괜찮어, yeah. So there's a gray area as to whether something sounds like a dialect or like something that an older person says. So there's the line is really like, yeah, blurry, but whatever you haven't learned in our curriculum or in a textbook or through a teacher formally, you can consider it as usually spoken style, okay? And if native speakers understand each other, you know, through that, you can also safely say that in most cases. 빌리 왔어요. Isn't it time for you to sleep? Oh, maybe. You have a question. Billy wrote this, so he just basically wasted his electricity by typing this. I have a question. Who is your favorite YouTuber and why is it Billy? And yeah, 이럴 때 I have a very important word to introduce to you. 무시. Yeah, 무시 is when you look at something that isn't worth your attention. You say 무시, 무시. Okay? Yeah. This is the treatment that Billy often gets from me. Okay, we have a grammar lesson on this, but let me answer this briefly here. 버렸어. So 버리다 is to throw away in the literal sense, okay? 버리다. But when you say 해 버리다, like 아어여 버리다, verb stem plus 아 버리다, 어 버리다, or 여 버리다, 여 is only for 해. So 해버리다 is like to do something, to get done with something, or to go ahead and do something against other people's other opinions or circumstances. So 해버리다 has many meanings, but 그냥 사버려. For example, when somebody is debating whether to buy something or not, you've added the item to the cart and you're like 1 inch away from that mouse button. Your friend can say, 그냥 사버려. 어차피 나중에 살 거 아니야. You are going to buy it anyway in the future. 어차피 나중에 또 사고 싶을 거야. You will want to buy it again. 어차피 anyway. So 그냥 사버려. Just don't worry too much. Just do it. Just go ahead and do it. You can say 사버려, 해버려. 그냥 주문해버려. Something like that. With a little bit of recklessness sometimes. Or you had a secret that you were holding on to, but then your friend did this. 말해버렸어요. 실수로 말해버렸어요. I was trying not to tell anybody, but I ended up saying it to somebody. So it was an unwanted result. So these two are the main meanings of 어여 버리다. Okay? All right. Let me scroll down. 네. 아까 재미있는 질문이 있었는데 오케이. 호불호 있었어요. 호불호. 재밌는 호불호. 지금 제가 캡처를 못 하겠는데 I missed it, but I did see this question. 호불호 무슨 뜻이에요? What does 호불호 mean? So 호불호 is a very interesting slang expression. 호 is to like, okay, and 불호 is to not like. This is based on the Chinese characters. You know, the Chinese word how, like to like and or to be good. So 호 불호. And the way people use it is 호불호가 갈리다. 호불호가 갈려요. So you can read it like this, 호불호, like this, 호불호. But in your mind, you need to separate these two, 호 or 불호. So, and if there can be no separation between like, dislike, if you think that everybody is bound to love something, like 호불호가 안 갈려요. It's just impossible for people to debate whether it's good or bad. I don't know what's a good example. 좋은 지금 예가 뭔지 모르겠는데 호불호가 갈리는 거는 say 떡볶이, spicy rice cakes. 호불호가 갈려요. Some people don't like it, some people like it. 호불호가 갈리다 is to be divided. And 호불호가 안 갈려요. Let's say What's 호불호가 안 갈려요? Let's say talk to me in Korean just for the sake of using our name as an example. Talk to me in Korean은 호불호가 안 갈려요. Everybody loves it, right? I hope we're safe here, right? 호불호가 안 갈려요. And due to a fairly recent controversy with this soccer player, Ronaldo from Portugal, I believe. Ronaldo or Ronaldo. Just for fun, just because I mean he was at a game. I'm not sure about the details, but let me try to explain a recent meme. Because his name starts with Ho in Korean, and he was at a soccer match in Korea like a few years ago, and he was in the I guess what do you call it, like at the bench, and people could see him, and many young kids wanted to see him play because he's a legendary soccer player, and he came to Korea, and many people bought these expensive tickets, but he didn't end up even playing for 1 minute, so everybody was very disappointed. So from that point on, everybody was like, no, I'm going to start rooting for Messi. I don't like Ronaldo anymore. So in Korea, this is a meme. So whenever people want to say 호 불호, people also say 매 불매, just for fun. So you will see this in like on Twitter here and there. Okay. So just an interesting meme. All right. 아까 또 있었는데 제가 질문이 계속 올라가서 here. 쓰다, 써먹다. 쓰다 is the basic word for to use. 써먹다 is to use, but at the same time to actively take advantage of something. Advantage of something. So if you say 한국어를 써요, 한국어를 써요. By the way, we have a channel called Talk to Me in 100% Korean where we only use 한국어, 한국어만 쓰는 채널이 있어요. So if you want like materials where you can only listen to Korean conversations fully in Korean, please check out our sister channel, Talk to Me in 100% Korean, okay? It's also, the link is on our website and as well as on our YouTube channel. If you go to our channel and go to channels, you'll see it. And so 써먹다 is 한국어를 배웠어요. 여러분이 한국어를 배웠어요. 그런데 써먹을 곳이 없어요. I learned Korean, but there's no opportunity to use it, actively use it, you know, take advantage of the fact that I know Korean. 그래서 utilize it. Utilize is a good translation for this. You have your driver's license, 운전면허가 있는데 운전할 기회가 없어요. You have no opportunity to drive. 운전 실력을, your driving skills, 써먹지 못해요. You cannot utilize them. 좋아요. 또 코멘트를 좀 보겠습니다. 좀 위로 올라갈게요. Oh, Mr. Scuba Palm, thank you for your super chat. 감사합니다. 슈퍼챗 보내주셔서 감사해요. 그리고 오케이. Margarita Guerrero asks here. This is a question. Is some of Talk to Me in Korean courses free if we sign in using our email? We have two memberships, basic and premium. So if you sign up on our website and choose premium and choose between the monthly subscription or the yearly subscription, you can use everything, including the review quizzes and premium courses. We have over 60 courses available on our website. And if you choose basic, you can still access a lot of our essential courses and the grammar lesson portions. So you can choose. And yes, there are many free materials on our website. You can start with a basic membership, but if you upgrade, you will get a lot more materials that you can improve your Korean really, really fast with. Okay. And yeah, I actually have another clip, another example clip available right here in the console. We have this course where you can practice or rehearse speaking Korean through a virtual interaction with our teachers, 승환 선생님 그리고 예지 선생님. 승환 선생님하고 예지 선생님하고 친구처럼 이야기해 볼 수 있는 코스가 있어요. 그 코스 보여드릴게요. Coming up in 3, 2, 1.
영화관에 사람이 별로 없네요.
그러네요. 영화를 본 지 얼마나 됐어요? 저는 3일 됐어요.
저는 영화를 본 지 2달 됐어요. 톡톡 씨는 영화 본 지 얼마나 됐어요?
You are 톡톡. So you are supposed to complete the sentence.
영화관에 자주 가요? 저는 엄청 자주 가요.
저는
Yeah, and let me know how their acting was. 연기 어땠나요? I asked Yeji the other day whether the acting was more difficult or the actual lesson planning and designing was more difficult, and she said acting. 네. CC, you're just tuning in. Is the stream finished? It's not finished yet. We're going to go for a couple, 10 more minutes, I believe, or more if we have more questions. And the target level is diverse. I hope to do more live Q&A sessions in the future. 이렇게 실시간으로 질문 답변하는 라이브 Q&A 더 자주 하고 싶어요. 그런데 초급도 있고 중급도 있고 고급도 있고 많잖아요. There are beginner learners, intermediate learners, advanced learners. 그 중간에도 있고요. And in between. So I have to mix various levels. So if you hear something, an explanation on something that's too easy for you, think of it as a review opportunity. And when you hear something too difficult for you, try to learn new words at least. 그렇게 하면 좋겠죠? 너무 쉬운 거는 복습 기회로 삼아주시고 너무 어려운 건 단어라도 배우시면 좋을 것 같아요. 와, 데비 씨, 데비 팅전, right? 잠깐만, 스크롤 올라가고 있어요. 오랜만이네요. 한국어로 지금 글을 써주셔서 읽어볼게요. She wrote this in Korean, so I will read it. 현우쌤 안녕하세요. 진짜 오랜만이에요. 정말 반가워요. 저 2009년에 Talk to Me in Korean에서 한국어를 배웠어요. 저 이제 한국어를 좀 잘해요. 그리고 다양한 영상들도 번역하고 있어요. 항상 고마워요. TTMIK 팀 항상 응원합니다. Please let me know if you're the person that I think you are. 제가 생각하고 있는 사람이 맞는지 알려주세요. 네, 현우쌤 안녕하세요. 진짜 오랜만이에요. Long time no see. 정말 반가워요. I'm translating here. So good to see you. Actually, I'm not showing you anything, right? So here, 2009년에 Talk to Me in Korean에서 한국어를 배웠어요. I learned Korean at Talk to Me in Korean in 2009. 저 이제 한국어를 좀 잘해요. And I speak some Korean now. 좀보다 훨씬 잘하는데요. 다양한 영상들도 번역하고 있어요. I am translating various videos. 항상 고마워요. I'm always thankful. TTMIK 팀 항상 응원합니다. 응원합니다. Good line that you can say to your favorite star. 항상 응원합니다. I'm always rooting for you. I'm always sending you support and love. 네, 맞아요. My wife and I, when we were coming back from our honeymoon trip 11 years ago, I posted on my personal Facebook page, anybody in the Philippines, because we're laying over for a couple of hours there, anybody want to meet up for coffee? And almost 50 people showed up there. It was a very, that time 7 people showed up, and the next time we went to the Philippines, we posted something similar, and then the second time around, almost 50 people showed up on a rainy day at a park in a sandwich shop, and that's where I believe I met you, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I have a lot of really fond memories of meeting up with 톡톡스. 그때는 톡톡이라는 이름은 없었지만 톡톡 여러분들하고 만났던 추억들이, 좋은 추억들이 많아요. 그래서 정말 나중에 그런 모임 다시 하면 좋겠습니다. 세탁하다, 빨래하다. Okay, back to a specific word comparison. I told you that this my favorite type of question, right? Let me actually, 그렇죠. 필리핀에서 만났죠. 맞아요. Let me pick, since we have about less than 10 minutes to go, let me pick some questions that I will be answering here in the text box so you can know whether your questions will be answered or not. 저기, 오케이. 그 다음 거, 이것도 답변할 거고요. I will answer this. 그 다음에 쭉 먼저 볼게요. 먼저 코멘트를, 질문을 고를게요. I will pick questions first. And for those of you who already know the correct answer for each of these questions, you can feel free to try to answer these questions for other people in the comments. 네. 오, 그리고 이현님 이런 코멘트도 남겨주셨네요. 네, Talk to me in 100% Korean 있는 거 모르셨다고요? 오늘 아셨죠? 네, 가서 보시면 됩니다. 그 다음에 오케이, 일단은 이거부터 답변을 할게요. 세탁하다. If you're talking about washing your laundry, washing your clothes, they're the same. 세탁하다 is more formal. 빨래 is your laundry, the clothes themselves. And if you want to use 세탁, you have to say 세탁물 to refer to the pile of clothes that need to be cleaned. So 세탁물. And 빨래하다. 세탁하다 is also used for some other idiomatic usages like 신분 세탁. You are setting up a new ID, like you are starting, like I don't know the perfect translation for this, but you are just basically changing your identity. That's 신분 세탁, or hiding your past, often described in movies. And money laundering is 돈 세탁. So for money laundering or hiding your true identity and disguising for someone new, these idiomatic usages are only used with 세탁, not 빨래. 빨래 is like very closely tied with the everyday mundane activity of washing your clothes. Okay, so that's 세탁 and 빨래. 지루하다 versus 심심하다. 지겹다 versus 귀찮다. So 심심하다, 지루하다, when you are bored, you can say, 심심해, 지루해, both are okay. But for example, if you want to describe something or someone as a boring thing or boring person, not you yourself, you can only say 지루해, like 지루한 영화. It's a boring movie. 심심한 영화 doesn't exist because it only means bored. Okay, a movie can't be bored in most cases, right? And 지겹다 and 귀찮다. 지겹다 is like tired or something. I guess that's where the confusion or the curiosity comes from. Tired of something, like sick and tired of something. You're fed up with something. And 귀찮다 is feels like a hassle. You don't want to do it. Yeah, so you keep hearing something, some kind of preaching over and over again. 지겨워. 엄마가 이거 하라고 했어. 승환 선생님이 이렇게 하라고 했어. 지겨워. You can say that. But 귀찮아 is like you don't want to do. You lack the motivation to do something. Oh, Sky Zane, thank you so much for your super chat. TTMIK 사랑해요. 감사합니다. 네. I'm actually secretly waiting for a super chat from Billy. Billy, where's your super chat? 장난이에요. 네. Save up your super chat and use it toward your flight ticket so that you can come to our office and clean our office, okay? How do you know what level you're in? We have come up with a different kind of curriculum leveling system for our own curriculum, which is 10 levels, as opposed to the traditional 6 levels, because we didn't want to pick 6 different levels because then we would have to match everything to the topic curriculum, you know. So we have 10 different levels our own way. So if you want to figure out what level you're in on our website, please go to talktomekorean.com. You'll see a level test button. Take the level test and you know where you are. And 7년 전에 처음으로 Talk to Me in Korean 써봤는데 Talk to Me in 100% Korean 있는 거 아예 몰랐어요. 네, 7년 전에는 없었어요. 그때 저희가 이야기라는 팟캐스트 있었고 뭐 한국어로도 많이 만들고 있었는데 따로 채널이 있진 않았어요. We didn't have a separate channel for only Korean. So that's why. 네. 아하. 이것도 좋은 의견이네요. TTMIK 이미 제 마음속에 1등인데요. 제안 하나만 할게요. Let me retype that actually. There are some very minor typos, not, to try to point it out, but I have. TTMIK 이미 제 마음속 1등인데요. 제안 하나만 할게요. 앞으로 유행어 코너도 있었으면 좋겠어요. Section is usually translated to 코너. When you're talking about a segment or a section on a show, you say 코너. So if you listen to the radio shows in Korean, 한국어로 라디오 들어보시면 자, 다음 코너는 the next corner. You often hear that. So segment. So 마음속 1등. In my mind, in my heart, your number one is what you said. Thank you. 감사합니다. 앞으로 유행어 코너 한번 생각해 볼게요. 만들어 볼게요. If we do these regular or live classes more regularly, we definitely want to introduce some in the future. 그리고 좋아요. How helpful is Duolingo for learning Korean? So this will be the last question I will be answering here today. My answer to this will depend on whether people from Duolingo are watching or if they're not watching right now. I think it's a good app for gamifying your learning experience. And a lot of people have learned new words from Duolingo, not only Duolingo per se, but from various vocabulary apps like Duolingo or like phrase learning apps like Duolingo. And I've spent a ton of time on this app, but I don't know. I've gone to the end of Duolingo French. I met the golden owl. I went all the way down to the end of Duolingo Spanish, and I met the golden owl there too. Did my Spanish and French really significantly improve because I did that? Not necessarily. I think I was at the same level as I was before. I did pick up a lot of new vocabulary, and it's a very good way to form your habit to learn a new language, learn Korean every day, because Duolingo has a good system of tracking you, if you're not studying. But anything that's only based on short-term memory retention is not going to give you a very big long-term benefit. So you need to, form new sentences, you need to speak to people more regularly. So it's great for vocabulary learning, I would say, but you definitely need to Talk to Me in Korean. You definitely need more than just one app, okay? That's it. And definitely for Korean, they do need more materials. And for French, English, Spanish, I think it's doable, because if you're especially coming from an English-speaking background, French and Spanish are not going to give you like awful translations. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I know there were a ton of other questions that I didn't get to answer. I see them, but I will try to remember them. I'll put them at the back of my mind. And let me ask you a question before I go. Would you like me to do more live YouTube live sessions like this? Would this help you? And if I know the answer is of course going to be yes, but like what is the best way for us to do this in a way that we help you and we help various levels of learners in the most effective way, without, for example, only answering a certain type of questions and not like answering a few others? Let us know. Obviously, this live chat is going to be only a replay session later on, but if you have Twitter, tweet us your ideas. If you have Instagram, please DM us and we'll check those out. 네, 더 자주 하면 좋겠다고 하셨는데요. Yeah, Billy, every single day. Okay. Not by me, but yeah, I want to do this more regularly. It's just that we're always like already so busy with other areas of work to, keep the Talk to Me in Korean brand running and keep producing new materials. 네, 계속 앞으로도 할 수 있도록 방법을 생각해 볼게요. We'll think of a way. And don't forget, we are having a sale for our premium membership. You get 50% off the first year of your subscription on our website at talktomeinkorean.com. And even if you're not able to get a discount right now because you are already subscribed or you are saving up for something else, please at least visit our website, because we have a few very good features added to the website. We've added a very cool feature to the curriculum page, talktomeinkorean.com/curriculum, where you can see a selection guide for our books and courses. If you weren't sure what book to pick next, we have a selection guide for you, a very visual aid. So, yep. Thank you so much. And 다음 시간에 다시 오겠습니다. 감사합니다. 그러면 end stream 여기 버튼이 있거든요. 지금 누를게요. 누르면 되죠? 네. 감사합니다. 안녕히 계세요.
수고하셨습니다.
네.
그 캡처. 네네.
네.